Hey guys, Lex here with another No Rest for the Wicked video. I've been playing this game a lot since it released into early access. I basically have the Cerim Crucible and the Echo Knight on farm status at this point, so I have a pretty thorough understanding of what's currently in the game, like content and mechanics wise. Despite the title of this video, I feel like I should say here that I think the core fundamentals of this game look and feel great. Just the art style and the animations are like a 10 out of 10 for me. I really love how polished this game looks already, and the voice acting is also incredible. Just everything on the creative side is perfect for me. Combat wise, I think they nailed the Souls-like feeling while maintaining the isometric top-down perspective so that the fighting in this game feels amazing most of the time. In this video, I'm going to go over the top 3 things I feel like get in the way of the fun, or at least get in the way of the smooth combat that's in this game. I'm not really trying to blame the devs for putting in inefficient or bad systems. These are things I feel like are genuine oversights. So these are just my off-the-cuff reactions to some problems I've noticed. So let's start with the first one, the lock-on. The lock-on function in this game, at least in my personal experience, can be described as shoddy at best. The biggest issue with the lock-on is that it disengages seemingly at random, but also more consistently when enemies rush or charge towards the bottom of the screen. This can make some intensive fights really annoying to just have to worry about re-engaging the lock-on, especially on a fight like Echo Knight where he tends to leap and charge down the bottom of the screen all the time. At first I thought this was intentional because on some of the caster mobs, after they blink, the lock-on disengages, and I was like, oh, that makes sense. My character's disoriented, so I have to like refocus and find them again to lock onto them again. But this isn't even the case because the lock-on stays engaged on them if they just blink towards the top of the screen. It's only when they blink again towards the bottom of the screen that the lock-on disengages. The lock-on will also switch to a target that's further away if a mob that you're currently fighting charges towards the bottom of your screen, so your character will all of a sudden start swinging at this mob that's 100 yards away instead of the one that's right next to him. So this bottom of the screen lock-on void, coupled in with just randomly disengaging at times, leads me to one solution. Guys, just make the lock-on way stickier. Way stickier. Like, the game is obviously challenging enough. We don't need this extra, like, am I locked on or not minigame thrown on top of it. Again, unless it's intentional with like a stealth mob or something, I could see that being a thing, but you know, in the other Souls games, the lock-on was super reliable. I cannot say the same for the lock-on in this game. It is the opposite of reliable. It's super random, and I don't like it. Also, I think it would be beneficial to give players the option to change the color of the lock-on, because that kind of hazy orange kind of tends to disappear in the middle of a fight where a lot of fire is being slung around. So something to consider. All right, moving on. Second issue, ingredients. All the ingredients you've picked up on the way to a tough fight count as meals. And though I understand the logic of maybe if you're missing a little bit of health and you just need something tiny to top yourself off, there are many times where I'm in a tough fight and I have to scroll through multiple ingredients just to find a food that's worth eating or has a buff that I'm looking for. This actually cost me a few Echo Knight runs early on because I picked up a bunch of ingredients on the Crucible run on the way to the Echo Knight, and they just cluttered up my meal inventory. My suggestion would be to just group meals and ingredients on opposite ends of the inventory so that you're cycling through meals on the left and you're cycling through ingredients on the right, just so there isn't like 3 ingredients in the middle of some meals when you're trying to cycle through and find something to eat in a tense situation. Or you could classify food ingredients as something else so they don't count as meals, or maybe give us the option to do that so they don't show up in our meal inventory. All right, but that's enough of that. The third issue, and this might be a little controversial, but for me the third issue is fall damage. So I don't think fall damage should be removed or anything. There's a lot of verticality in this game and it counts for something, and you should be punished if you position poorly or get knocked off a cliff or something like that. I think fall damage has its place here. However, there are some instances where it feels a bit uninteractive and that there wasn't much you can do. An example that comes to mind is those Crucible Knights with the great axes. You know which ones I'm talking about. They have that shoulder shove move that comes out so quick, and it's I don't know if it's a stagger cancel or what, but that move comes out quicker than you are able to finish punishing sometimes. Sometimes you're stuck in an animation and it doesn't feel like you should be hit by that. Comes out so quick, and if you're near an edge when they hit you with that, you're just screwed. Your run's over. And again, this is usually something that you're in the right for doing. A plunging attack takes a little while to get out of. I have plunging attacked one of these knights, and then they just shove me because I'm still stuck in the plunging attack animation. And sure, you could argue, hey, don't fight these things in a precarious position, but there's a great example. This autumn module in the Cerim Crucible comes to mind, where there's this scaffolding that leads up to a great height, and you usually have to fight 2 knights at the top, and it's just kind of a drag to have to like aggro them and pull them all the way down to a safer area, because that's the only way you can fight them in a better position. I literally have to aggro them and wait for them to walk down the scaffolding to a less fall damage prone area, or fight them up high but just be really conservative with my punishes. Both methods though are kind of just artificially extending the length of these fights and are ultimately time wasters. Another precarious module that highlights the falling damage issue is the underground aqueduct one. If you've played through the Cerim Crucible, you know what I'm talking about. But obviously there's a lot of verticality in this module, so the devs had fall damage in mind when making this one. But it just kind of sucks because the auto detect, you know, you're supposed to sprint towards an edge and then your character jumps, but that doesn't consistently work in here. Also, you are prone to having your lock-on just randomly swap to something that's down below you if you decide to skip any of the mobs down below, so that your character will just start attacking in a random direction off of the aqueduct sometimes, depending on how the mob moves that you're currently fighting. If it goes towards the bottom of your screen, your lock-on will just lock onto the thing down below you, and then you might swing off of an edge. Maybe it's not the fall damage that's the issue here, but I could still see it being reworked in some way. I could see the devs maybe increasing the range that it takes for you to fall before lethal damage is achieved. Or perhaps decreasing the fall damage by like a flat 25% across the board. I mean, I'd be happy with either or both of those. Or I could see them adjusting the fall damage curve somehow so that shorter distances fallen are a little less punishing currently than they are, and just, you know, exponentially having the damage ramp up the closer and closer you get to that lethal damage fall distance. Because right now it feels just a little too punishing, if I have to be honest. Also, I would not miss that Great Axe shove attack if it was removed from the game.
Just saying.
Anyways, that's gonna be it for this video. And despite these issues, I feel like, again, I should mention that I think the game is awesome. I really am. I think this is gonna be something special upon full release. I'm also super excited to see what the next big content patch looks like. You know, until then, I'm just gonna keep farming the Crucible, keep farming the Echo Knight. That's still pretty fun to me. I think I'll try another build out, perhaps make another character, try like a Dex Int build, something like that. Something drastically different from my sword and board playstyle that I've been sticking to. But that's gonna be it for this one. Till next time.